Racism. George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Malcolm Williams, Brent D. Andrew Martin, Thurston John Reed, and William Lamont DeBose. These are only a few of the names of those who were unjustly murdered simply for being black. Enough. This must stop. Discrimination against people on basis of their race, color, descent, national origin, or ethnic origin must end. Racism comes in a variety of forms and manifests itself in a variety of locations. It may take the form of harassment, abuse, or humiliation, but it does not always include violent or intimidating actions. Racism can take the form of name-calling and harsh jokes, as well as exclusion from groups or activities. Racism can be displayed in people's attitudes, words, and deeds. Discrimination on the basis of race is widely recognized as a significant social determinant of health and a source of racial, ethnic health inequalities. Racism has been linked to poorer health outcomes, especially for mental health, as well as restricted access to health care and negative patient experiences. However, the real question is this: can we not prevent and combat racism? Yes, we can. We should acknowledge modern-day racism exists. While some believe that anti-discrimination legislation has eradicated racism from society, research demonstrates that this is not the case. Ethnic minorities continue to face significant prejudice and discrimination. Less likely to obtain sufficient care from physicians, less likely to receive career or employment opportunities, judged more harshly and held to a higher standard of punishment for the crimes they commit, more likely to be shot by police officers, treated with greater distrust. These are only a few examples. Clearly, many people encounter racism on a daily basis in a number of different ways. Thus, it is necessary to emphasize that minorities continue to face discrimination. Recognizing the existence of racism is the first step toward bringing about positive change. Take note of other people's experiences. When you hear about the situations and experiences of others, be prepared to listen with an open mind. We should also validate the experiences and feelings of people of color. Another strategy to address bias and acknowledge privilege is to validate other people's experiences and to engage in tough discussions about race and injustice. We cannot remain fearful of discussing injustice, oppression, and discrimination out of concern for doing it wrong. Consider taking action by becoming aware of the ways in which racism continues to harm our society.
In addition, we should challenge the colorblind ideology. The widespread myth that we live in a post-racial world in which people don't notice color is rampant. Promoting a colorblind mindset, on the other hand, adds to racism. When Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. expressed his desire for a colorblind world, he was not implying that we should disregard race. Racism cannot be eradicated without first acknowledging race. Being colorblind ignores a fundamental component of an individual's identity and glosses over the real injustices that many individuals endure as a result of race. We need to perceive color in order to collaborate on issues of equity and equality. We must call out racial jokes and attitudes, inform people that racist remarks should not be tolerated. If you do not feel comfortable or secure being confrontational, attempt to deconstruct their way of thinking and ask questions. Do not be scared to converse with family members, co-workers, and friends. Microaggressions, which can take the shape of racist jokes or utterances, serve to propagate and normalize prejudices and biases. Bear in mind that remaining silent or laughing along implies agreement.
Learn about other people. Look into the history of racism and prejudice and make an effort to understand what other people face now. Read some books, see films, and review articles that describe other people's experiences. You don't have to limit yourself to scientific articles and videos. Numerous fiction books may also provide insight into unfamiliar cultures. Gather information from a number of sources by watching the same channel and reading the same articles on the same website. You get only one perspective. Learn from a variety of sources and you discover that there are numerous ways to convey the same story. We should adopt an intersectional approach in all aspects of our life. Bear in mind that all forms of oppressions are inextricably linked. You cannot combat one type of injustice while ignoring another. Numerous survivors of domestic violence endure additional discrimination in the form of racism and other forms of injustice. We must acknowledge and support the unique experiences of these survivors.
Don't allow racism to seem normal by staying silent, because silence can be interpreted as consent. It is important to speak out against racism when it is safe and reasonable to do so. This does not have to be an argument or a rant. A brief, formally delivered, direct opposition followed by a complimentary statement is likely to be very advantageous. Remember, to know what is right and not to do it is the worst cowardice. Stop the hate. Let the children of tomorrow live in a better world.